Before we begin, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss the next story that could change the way you look at the coins in your pocket or the memories tucked away in your drawers. Now, let me take you back to a time that may feel like yesterday for many, the early 1980s. The world was changing fast, and South Africa was a country standing at a crossroads. The economy was tense, the culture was vibrant, and the old ways of life were being challenged. And right in the middle of that moment, a small copper coin began its journey, one that would, decades later, shock the numismatic world. I'm talking about the 5-cent coin of 1981 from South Africa. To most people, it was just pocket change, something that clinked together with others in the bottom of a drawer or a car ashtray. But to those who know, to those who understand the silent stories that coins carry, this one was different. In 1981, South Africa was still minting coins that reflected a nation torn between its heritage and its uncertain future. The 5-cent coin was modest, a bronze piece featuring a graceful blue crane, South Africa's national bird, its wings spread as if caught mid-flight. On the reverse side, the familiar face of Jan van Riebeeck, the Dutch colonial founder of Cape Town, still looked out over the years, a symbol of old beginnings, of exploration, and of a time long past. But what makes this coin more than a nostalgic token isn't just its design, it's the story that surrounds it. You see, in 1981, the South African Mint was undergoing quiet but crucial changes. New machines were being installed, old dies were being phased out, and somewhere in that transition, a small batch of coins was struck differently. Fewer than a handful left the mint floor before someone noticed something unusual about them. The metal composition was slightly off, the strike sharper, the details more pronounced. The blue crane looked as though it had come alive, each feather etched with a precision rarely seen in mass production. It was a die test, a trial run, never meant for circulation. But somehow, a few of those coins slipped out. For years, nobody paid attention. These were the days before online auctions, before digital databases. People collected for the love of it, not for profit. Some of these coins sat quietly in old jars or boxes, waiting. And as decades passed, South Africa changed. The coins changed too. But the 1981 5 cents held on, quietly, unassumingly, until collectors began to notice. It'd be why the late 1990s and early 2000s, as the global coin market started to explode, experts began cataloging and valuing South African coins more carefully. That's when a pattern emerged. The 1981 5 cents appeared far less frequently than any other year. Collectors who had studied mint records realized that an experimental die set had been used only briefly before being scrapped. That discovery transformed what was once worth 5 cents into something priceless. But here's the fascinating part. For many men in their 50s and 60s today, that coin isn't just a piece of metal. It's a symbol of their youth, the years of school lunchrooms, of car washes, of buying a cold drink on a hot afternoon. It's memory made tangible. To hold that coin is to hold a small piece of time, a reminder of when life was simpler, slower, and maybe even a little bit better. And that emotional connection, my friend, is what drives value in the world of collectibles. Because collecting isn't just about rarity, it's about resonance. The stories we attach to objects are what give them life. The 5 cents of 1981 carries the whispers of an era, the touch of hands long gone, and the quiet resilience of a nation that kept moving forward. Today, when collectors meet, this coin is spoken about with reverence. It's become almost mythical, a whisper in the numismatic world that makes seasoned experts lean in. They talk about the variations in the edge, the metal tone, the strike quality. They debate whether the mint errors were intentional or simply the result of a rushed production change. Each theory adds another layer to the legend, and like all legends, there's always one story that captures the imagination, a discovery. A few years ago, an elderly man in Cape Town decided to sort through an old cigar box left behind by his father. Inside were a few old coins, shillings, pennies, and among them, a small, brownish coin with the blue crane gleaming faintly in the light. He thought nothing of it, but a friend urged him to get it appraised. When he did, experts confirmed what few had ever seen in person: an uncirculated 1981 5-cent test strike, nearly perfect condition. When it went to auction, the bidding was fierce. Collectors from around the world joined in, from Johannesburg to London, from New York to Sydney. The coin opened at a modest price, but within minutes, the numbers skyrocketed. Every serious collector wanted it. By the time the hammer dropped, the room fell silent. The final bid had reached an astonishing $3 million. $3 million, for what was once just a simple coin that jingled in the pockets of everyday South Africans. That sale sent ripples through the collecting world. Suddenly, people everywhere began digging through their old boxes and drawers, searching for that same piece of forgotten history. And while most won't find the rare variation, the very act of searching brought back something priceless. Memories. That's the true beauty of this coin. It bridges generations. It reminds us that even the smallest objects can carry immense value, not just in money, but in meaning. It's a reflection of time, craftsmanship, and the quiet persistence of history itself. So, if you ever come across a 5-cent coin from 1981, take a closer look. Turn it under the light. Feel its weight, its texture. It might be nothing, or it might be one of the rarest coins ever made. And who knows? The next record-breaking sale could come from someone just like you, sitting at home, remembering the sound of change in his pocket and the days when a few cents could buy a little joy. Before we end, if you enjoyed this story, subscribe to the channel. There's a world of forgotten treasures waiting to be rediscovered. And sometimes, the greatest finds aren't buried in the ground, but resting quietly in the stories we've kept alive. Before we dive into this incredible story, my friend, take a moment right now. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon. Because here, we don't just talk about coins, we talk about treasures, memories, and the hidden history they carry. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Now, let's go back. The year is 1987. The world was changing fast. The Cold War was still simmering, technology was just beginning to take over, and here in South Africa, something remarkable was being struck, quietly, without fanfare, in the Royal Mint. A small copper coin, barely worth 5 cents. But this, my friend, is no ordinary coin. This is the South African 5 cents of 1987, a piece that tells a story of a country, its people, and the times they lived in. You see, coins have always been storytellers. Every tiny detail, from the metal it's made of to the design engraved upon it, captures a moment in history. The 1987 5-cent coin carries the proud springbok antelope, leaping forward across the surface, strong, determined, graceful. That same springbok had become a national symbol of endurance and hope, appearing not just on coins, but in the spirit of South Africa itself. It wasn't just money, it was identity. If you hold that coin in your hand today, feel its weight. It's light, yes, made of bronze-plated steel, but the story it carries is heavier than you think. 1987 was a year of transition. Economically, politically, socially, the nation was shifting. For collectors, that year's coins became subtle markers of change. The minting process, the metal composition, even the distribution patterns, they reflected a moment of quiet transformation. And yet, at the time, no one thought twice about it. Millions of these coins passed through hands every day, paying for bread, milk, bus rides, and small moments of everyday life. People carried them in pockets, tossed them into jars, lost them under cushions. But as decades passed, time did what it always does. It erased, it scattered, and it made the ordinary rare. Most of those coins disappeared, melted down, forgotten, or corroded by time. But a few, just a few, survived, untouched, in perfect condition. And that, my friend, is where the magic begins. Because rarity is what transforms something from pocket change into treasure. Think about it. Every collector, every historian, Every man who's ever looked at an old coin and wondered where it's been knows the thrill of discovery. It's not just about the metal or the shine. It's about the story. The 1987 5-cent coin from South Africa holds that kind of story. The kind that stirs curiosity in your chest and makes you lean closer, wondering, could I have one of those lying somewhere in an old drawer? Now, if you look closely at the obverse side, the front, you'll see the coat of arms of South Africa. Regal, proud, and beautifully detailed. It speaks of tradition, strength, and heritage. On the reverse, the springbok leaps across an open plain, an image that captures both motion and meaning. It's not just art, it's symbolism. The message is simple but powerful: resilience, progress, and pride. A message that every South African man of that time could feel deep in his bones. And perhaps that's why coins like these hold such emotional weight. They remind us of our younger days. The sound of coins jingling in your pocket as you walked into town. The smell of petrol, the taste of fresh bread from the corner shop, the chatter of familiar voices in the afternoon sun. These small things that seemed ordinary, they are treasures now. The 1987 5-cent coin is a key to that world. But here's what makes this particular year's coin truly special. Most people think every coin from that time is the same. They're not. There were minting variations, die errors, and limited proof sets that were produced in exceptionally low numbers. Some were struck with a slightly off-center alignment. Others were part of the prestige mint sets that never made it to public circulation. Those few surviving in mint condition, with flawless shine, sharp details, and unblemished surfaces, are now among the most sought after by collectors worldwide. And when something that was once common becomes scarce, its value doesn't just rise, it skyrockets. Especially when it's tied to a nation's story. When you combine history, rarity, and emotional power, you get something priceless. Now, imagine finding one of these coins, perfectly preserved, untouched by time. Maybe tucked away in an old family collection, maybe forgotten in a box that hasn't been opened for decades. You take it to an expert just to satisfy your curiosity. He looks at it through his magnifying lens, silent for a moment. Then he looks up and says, "Do you know what you have here?" That's the kind of moment every collector dreams of, because right now, that same 1987 South African 5-cent coin, in pristine, uncirculated condition from a verified proof set, is being valued by top collectors and auction houses at staggering prices. What was once worth less than a loaf of bread has now become a legend in the world of numismatics. Let's pause for a second. Think about that. A tiny coin, smaller than a bottle cap, carrying the echoes of 1987, could now be worth more than cars, homes, even fortunes. Coins like this remind us that history isn't just written in books, it's carried in our pockets. Every mark, every engraving, every detail tells a story of who we were, where we've been, and what we valued. And sometimes, if we're lucky, those stories turn into something more, something that transcends time. If you've ever collected coins, you already know the feeling, that heartbeat quickening when you find a rare piece, that spark of memory when you recognize a symbol from your past. It's not just about money, it's about connection. The 1987 5-cent coin from South Africa connects generations, from fathers who spent them, to sons who rediscover them, to collectors who preserve them for the future. And as for its value today, brace yourself. Because the highest known sale of a flawless, proof-quality 1987 5-cent coin from South Africa has been recorded at close to $1 million. Yes, you heard that right. 1 million. From 5 cents to a fortune. Proof that sometimes the smallest things can hold the greatest worth. The next time you open that old coin jar or go through the boxes in the attic, take a careful look. History might just be waiting for you there, in the shape of a tiny, bronze-plated coin that once jingled in the pockets of an ordinary man back in 1987. And before you go, make sure you're subscribed, because this channel isn't just about coins. It's about stories, discoveries, and the hidden treasures of our past. You never know which one might be sitting right under your nose or in your own collection, waiting to reveal its million-dollar secret.